Hi, how y'all doing? It is July the 26th. Is it 26 today? Or 27? 27th. The 27th of July, 2024. How are you dealing with the energy? In the rise, I had a different sleep. It wasn't as restful as it normally is. I got up around 6 in the rise, so a little bit earlier than I have been getting up, with just icky sensations in my body, right? Um, I did do some work though. I mopped a couple of floors. They gotta be done again though, right? Um, and my aunt came to visit, right? My mother's sister. She's the only one left. And then it's me. And she's in her late 70s. So I was a little bit hesitant about the visit, right? She wanted to take me out for a treat or whatever. And I thought, this is going to be a hard one. I can't have any processed food in restaurants. That's what they sell, right? So when she came to the door, I told her, right? I said, there's a thing about going out for something to eat at a restaurant. She said, what? And I said, I can't have processed food. And it's pretty hard to find a restaurant that doesn't have all just processed food. She goes, the fibromyalgia. I said, yeah. I said, it's been really kicking my butt lately, right? For the last 2 years. With the fatigue and everything setting in too. I just don't have the energy. My body gets too full of icky sensations and it just tires that joint out, or that leg or the back or the arms or the hands, right? And she seemed to be able to understand it. So she said, so we just stay here? I said, yeah. Would you like a cup of tea? And so she came in. We had a cup of tea together, right? And we talked a little bit about my sisters and just stuff, flowers and things, personal things. Like she can't smell certain smells, but then she can smell other smells, right? And then I brought up my great great grandma, the melanated lady, right? Ancestor. And I wanted to know how old she was when she passed, and if the Irishman she married was her first or second husband. And so he was her only first and only husband, right? And she married him because in Canada here there wasn't a lot of people I guess she resonated with. And she said something about, they were on both working poor, so they were attracted to each other, kind of thing, right? And that's why they got together, and they had like a bunch of kids, six or eight, I can't remember. Half of them they got lighter, let's just say. A couple of them were darker, but most of them were lighter. So they took after him more than her, except for like my mother's family, right? My grandmother and my great grandma. So she died when she was 70, around 70, right? Her husband wasn't with her. Sounds a little bit suspicious, right? Um, he was out west visiting two of his sons that had just had babies or whatever. And 2 days after he got there, my aunt said he got up in the rise and told his sons that he had a dream and he had to go home. And by the time he got back here, she had already passed. He got here just in time for the funeral. So that right there made me suspicious. He could have poisoned her before he left. I don't know, right? It just, something didn't sit right with me there. So Rod Hayes talks about how uh, men moved in and did the sweetheart swindle on a lot of the big mamas, right? Heads of the family, you know? And it was a way to take their land, their title and stuff. They'd off them, right? and poison them and just say they died. And then he had control of everything. Their land and all the people that worked on it lived there, right? Family members. So I'm wondering if that's what happened. Maybe I'll ask her and she'll come to me in a dream and tell me. But yeah, so I was led to look up who invented the first vaccine. When was it invented? And I believe it was, what did it say again? 1769, I think? Something like that, right? And of course it was a Freemason, because they're in control of the narrative, right? From that point of view, they're being put in front to see, this is all, we did this all, we're the smartest, you have to learn what we teach you, right? Because back in the day, not everybody was allowed to read, right? You weren't allowed to be taught, so you just had to believe what they read to you or taught you, okay? You couldn't question. So he did, and it was for smallpox. And around that time is when people started getting this disease called the wasting sickness, right? Where their body would waste away. They would get, sicker and smaller and skinnier and frailer until they died. And I'm thinking it's because of that, right? The job back then when they started all the poisoning. So, yeah. What a shit show, right? Okay, I got a question for you. When you know that your consciousness, this is not who you are, this is not who I am on this screen right now. This is just my avatar, my spacesuit that I picked to come here to experience this, because I'm from a different realm. I'm on a different realm, and this is the game the so-called gods play, right? To come down here and experience this realm. It was supposed to be different than this, so because we got invaded, so it changed everything. And so when we came down here, we thought it would be what it was supposed to be, but it's not. Okay? So anyway, I'm in our avatar, right? And I'm somewhere else. This is a game. I'm here to experience life. There's no death, right? When this body passes, I go back to my consciousness, right? It's like the movie, where are all those blue guys running around in the trees? Avatar, right? So, how do you get into playing the game? Don't be afraid of anything, because there's no death, right? But you want to have the best experience. See, Earth was supposed to be a love story. It is supposed to be a love story, right? What we see now is not love, right? It's just little tiny pieces, and it's perverted, right? Through the engineering, right? I can't think of the first word. Engineering people. You do it through school, religion, all that, right? You make people live and think the way you want them to. That's what's happened. So that's how it's in a perverse way. It's so much better, the love story, right? I don't know where I'm going with this, I'm just trying to figure out how to get my mind in the space and keep it there all the time, that I'm in an avatar. I'm not here, right? We can activate at any time. I gotta learn more about this. I do. I gotta solidify it. So yeah. The main reasons I started this video today was to tell you that the Schuman's at 42, so up quite a bit from yesterday, and the Ascension symptoms, right? My right side of my shoulder, my neck, is super tight. I'm having a hard time just resting my head and stuff like that, sitting in the lazy boy. It is just I've been spraying it with my spray all day, and my left side of my stomach, right, closer to my hip, feels, I don't know, really icky sensation in there. My tail, my back, my spine, my lower back, right? My legs more numb today and aching. Icky sensations. Gotta train yourself to speak a new language, right? Um, so those are my Ascension symptoms. This guy here is kind of blue. It's that weird blue again, right? It's like they got a white net over it or something. And temperature is about 26, 27. I've stayed in most of the day. My third son stopped by in the rise and got his laundry. I chatted him up a little bit. He's supposed to stop tomorrow in the rise and help me do a couple things to the truck just to, you know, make it a little bit better. And it won't take long though, just a couple little tiny things, right? See if I had a man here, but for myself, right? He could do it for me because it wouldn't take a mechanic. I know how to do it. But yeah, fatigue is a thing. I run out of energy, and in my neighborhood, I don't want to leave anything half done. Just, the neighbors would get into it, or the children. So yeah, the cops I've been seeing them the last couple of nights around the neighborhood here. So the drug addicts must be at it or something. One stopped to talk to a little kid riding their bicycle too, a little boy riding his bicycle last night. So I wonder, why is that policeman parked on the wrong side of the road and talking to that boy on the bicycle? And then I just watched until the boy, took off and started riding around, and then the policy officer, or yeah, policy, is that what they're called? Policy officers? Uh, went into one of the end units, right? So I was like, oh, okay, he was probably just asking information. Because I don't trust anybody talking to children. I don't care if you got a suit on or what. That doesn't mean nothing to me, right? That's your job, it's not your character. So, and a lot of police are just power hungry people, control freaks, right? That's why they take those jobs. So, yeah, I don't trust them. But then I don't trust anybody. My aunt brought me two old dolls, too, right? Both melanated dolls. One's a little Indian or native, and the other one's an Eskimo or Inuit, I guess they call them now. We call them Eskimos, right? And their little outfits. So I put them in my mother's china cupboard she made me take before she passed, right? I didn't want it. She said she got my son to go up and get it and take it to my house. I told my aunt, she goes, it's because she knew Pamela didn't like you. And she was probably going to take everything from you and not let you have anything, right? It's amazing that I was tricked by her mask for so many years. But it is what it is. Once the veil comes up, you see everything, don't you now? Yeah, we do. I tried to watch a couple of movies, just, like superhero, right? And the acting, I just can't pass. I even said to Source when I'm watching the movies, I was like, bad acting, right? Like, I can't get into the story. Is it because I have eyes to see now? The veil's gone. I could, it just. That's how I felt about that. So it was like, yeah, I can't watch these anymore, right? Not for this, the music bothers me. I can't listen to the music. Nothing, right? Guess I'm on a different timeline, in a different dimension. There's hardly any wind today. Or birds. I heard a seagull earlier. No birds other than that. I seen a monarch butterfly when I was out talking to my son. I noticed that there's a lot less insects this year. There's a reason for that. Maybe a lot of them were GMO'd, right? And the solar rays and stuff, the high Schuman is wiping them out, right? It's a possibility. But I see, the odd insect here or there, but they're usually big and strong, so maybe they're on their way out too. They're just like the last of the the last of the bright breed or whatever. I don't know. Weird. Yeah. Alright, I told you Schuman's at 42. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I believe a couple of CMEs or solar flares came off of the sun again today, yesterday. So we might be getting one of those geometric storms in a day or two. Right? I'll see if the Schuman keeps on going up or what. But yeah, I just want to be comfortable. I feel so icky, like just uncomfortable. But our DNA is changing, right? We are. Our cells, everything. I wonder what it's going to look like when it's done. Alright, I'm sending you love, joy, good health. I love you also, consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Bye.